Hello my dear students, welcome to Teacher at Home. Today class we are going to learn the 5th chapter, Ocean and the Man. What you see are a few glimpses of human life. There is hardly anyone who does not depend on the oceans in one way or the other. When viewed from the space, the earth looks like a vast expanse of water. The continents appear as land masses projected in between. Nearly 71% of the earth's surface area is covered with water. Land is confined to the remaining 29%. Oceans occur between the land masses. The major oceans are the Pacific, Atlantic, Arctic, Antarctic, and the Indian Ocean. Each of the above oceans contain bays, straits, and several seas. The portion of the sea surrounded by land on three sides is a bay. The narrow stretch of sea between two land masses, it is known as strait. Sea is the portion of the ocean close to the land. Arabian Sea is a part of the Indian Ocean. Oceans at a glance. Ocean. First one is the Pacific Ocean. Basic information. Total area 165.2 lakh square kilometer. Average depth 4,280 meter. Challenger Deep is the deepest point in the Pacific Ocean. Atlantic Ocean. Total area 82.4 lakh square kilometer. Average depth 3,700 meter. Deepest point Puerto Rico Trench 8,618 meter. A 14,000 kilometer long mountain range known as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge exists along the middle of this ocean. Indian Ocean. Total area 73.4 lakh square kilometer. Average depth 3,960 meter. Deepest point 7,725 meter. Arctic Ocean. The smallest ocean. Total area 14.09 lakh square kilometer. Deepest point 5,180 meter. Antarctic Ocean, the ocean surface is frozen, also known as the Southern Ocean. Total area 32 lakh square kilometer. Islands and peninsula. Islands are land surrounded by sea on all sides. The land masses surrounded by sea on three sides is called peninsula. Islands. Sri Lanka, Japan, Philippines, Madagascar, Maldives, Victorian Islands, British Isles, Greenland, Iceland, Sumatra, Newfoundland, New Guinea, Baffin and Cocos. Peninsula. India Peninsula, Arabian Peninsula, Alaska Peninsula, Labrador Peninsula and Scandinavian Peninsula. Temperature, salinity and density are the important characteristics of seawater. These are not uniform in all oceans. Let us find out the reason for this. The contribution. Let us find the distribution of ocean temperature. Temperature varies in accordance with latitude. The highest temperature is recorded between 10 degree latitude on either side of the equator. Average temperature here is about 27 degrees Celsius. As we move away from the equator, temperature decreases considerably. Temperature falls to about 10 degrees Celsius in the mid-latitude, up to -2 degrees Celsius in the polar regions. What is the reason for the variation in temperature over different latitudinal zones? Variation is the amount of insolation received on the earth is a major reason for this. The ocean currents and winds also influence the temperature of seawater. Analyze the variation in temperature along different altitudes. Salinity of seawater. Seawater is salty. The average amount of saltness of seawater is 3.5%. This water can be purified by separating the salt from it. The concentration of salt contained in seawater is known as salinity. It is expressed as the grams of salt present in 1000 grams of water. Average salinity of seawater is 35 parts per 1000 and is recorded as 35. This means that 35 grams of salt is present in 1000 grams of seawater. Salinity is not uniform across oceans. Chemistry of seawater. Major portion of the saline water contains sodium chloride. It also contains magnesium chloride, magnesium sulfate, calcium sulfate, potassium sulfate, calcium carbonate, etc. Most of them can be commercially extracted, but some of these occur in only rare quantities, and the cost of extraction is expensive. Condition leading to variation in salinity. Salinity will be more in landlocked seas. Salinity increases in areas of high evaporation. Salinity decreases in areas where snows melt, water reaches in large quantity. Salinity decreases at river mouth. Heavy rainfall lead to reduction in salinity. Salinity varies from ocean to ocean and to different depth. Density of seawater. The density of seawater is not uniform everywhere. It is due to the variations in salinity and temperature of seawater. Density decreases as temperature increases and increases as salinity increases. You understood that the temperature, salinity and density of seawater are not uniform everywhere. This variation leads to movement of seawater. Let us look into movement of seawater and the reasons therefore. Movement of seawater. Waves, tides, ocean currents are the movements of seawater. Waves. Up and down motion of water along the surface of the sea is called sea waves. Summit of the wave is known as the wave crest and the bottom part is known as the wave trough. Distance between two adjacent crests is the wavelength and the vertical distance between the crest and the trough is the wave height. The friction exerted by winds on the ocean surface is the reason for waves. As the speed of the wind increases, the strength of the waves also increases. Strong waves generated as a result of severe winds such as cyclones causing shelving of shores. You might have read the news in dailies regarding the sea surges during the southwest monsoon season. Sea surges cause severe damage along the shores. Some measures are taken to prevent damage and to protect the lives of people living in the coastal areas. Depositing boulders along the seashore, construction of interlocking concrete structures, planting of mangroves. The sand moved back and forth by the waves is deposited as sand bars due to the particles being blocked by each other. This is the solution by nature to protect the shores from sea urges. You have heard of the tsunami waves that hit the sea Kerala caused in 2004. The earthquakes and volcanoes of the ocean floor generate monstrous waves that are disastrous. Such sea waves are known as the seismic sea waves, tsunami waves. These waves move at a speed of up to 800 km per hour. Mudbank. Mudbank is a phenomenon that develops in the Arabian Sea during the onset or at the end of the monsoon season. Plankton grow luxuriantly in the turbulent muddy water along the seashore during the monsoon rains. School of fish such as shrimp, sardine and mackerel arrive to feed on the planktons and the mud giving fisherman a good catch. This phenomenon is known as the mudbank. Tides are the periodic rise and fall of water level in the ocean. The rise in the level of ocean water is a high tide and the lowering of water level is known as a low tide. Let us look in the reason for tides. Tides are formed as a result of the gravitational pull exerted by the moon and the sun along the centrifugal force due to the earth's rotation. Water level on the part of the earth facing the moon rises. The rise in water level due to the gravitational pull exerted by the moon lead to the high tide. You might have noticed that the water level at the opposite side also has risen. Centrifugal force due to the earth's rotation is the reason for the rise in water level here. Can be seen that the water level goes down at places located 90 degrees away from the places of tidal influence. This is due to the draining of water towards the tidal regions. Phenomenon of fall of water level is known as the low tide. In addition to the gravitational pull of the moon, gravitational pull exerted by the moon, sun also causes tides. Though the moon is smaller than the sun, the attraction is more powerful than that of the sun since it is closer to the earth. Spring tides and neap tides. The sun, moon and earth come in a straight line on full moon and new moon days. Tidal force will be intense due to the combined influence of sun and moon. As a result, the tides formed on the days will be stronger. These are known as spring tides. The moon and the sun will be at an angular distance of 90 degrees from the earth after 7 days from the full moon and new moon days. As the sun and the moon attract the earth from an angular distance of 90 degrees, the tides caused are weak. Such weak tides are known as neap tides. Note the positions of the earth. moons and sun in the given diagram. Effects of tides. High tides and low tides have many effects. Let's have a look at them. The debris dumped along the seashores and ports are washed off to the deep sea. The formation of deltas is disrupted due to strong tides. Brackish water can be collected in salt pan during high tides. The fishermen use the tides for going and returning from the sea in catamarans. Tidal energy can be used for power generation. Ships can be brought to shallow harbors during high tides. Ocean currents. Ocean currents are the continuous flow of seawater from one direction to another. It can be classified as warm currents and cold currents. Warm currents are the currents that flow from the tropical or subtropical region towards the polar or subpolar regions. Similarly, cold currents are the currents that flow in from the polar to the subpolar regions towards the tropical or subtropical regions. The temperature and salinity of seawater varies from ocean to ocean. Difference lead to density differences in seawater. Difference in density is one of the factors that cause ocean currents. Here are certain islands given: Philippine Islands, Japanese, Taiwan, Tasmania, New Zealand, New Guinea Island and Bering Strait. Currents of the Indian Ocean. South Equatorial Current warm from east to west. Effects of ocean currents influence the climate of coastal regions. Fog develops in the regions where warm and cold currents meet. The regions where the warm and cold current meet provide favorable conditions for the growth of fish. Hope you are convinced of the importance of seawater movements in human life. Oceans are useful to man in different ways. Let us look at them. Climate. Oceans have a decisive role in controlling the climate along the coastal regions. The sea breeze during the day and the land breeze in the night regulate the temperature over the coast. Oceans play a part in the formation of weather phenomena like rain, wind, and cyclones. Generally, the coastal regions have moderate climate, whereas several summer and winter prevail in regions away from the sea. Mineral deposits. Most of the minerals found in land are also found in oceans. Apart from the deposits of common salt, bromine, magnesium chloride, etc., the oceans contain iron ore, coal, petroleum, and natural gas. Extraction of petroleum and natural gas from the oil field in the Arabian Sea, about 162 km in the west of Mumbai, showed started in 1974. This oil field is known as the Mumbai High. Power generation. Waves and tides are used for the generation of electric power. The waves that strike the turbines on the shores produce electricity. By turning them, sometimes reservoirs are constructed for storing seawater. Seawater that enters the reservoir at high tides is released during the low tide. The turbine moves at both distances and electricity is generated. Ocean as a source of food. Fish is an important item of food. Japan, Peru, China, Norway, and the United States of America are the leading fishing nations. Marine organisms are the sources of many medicines. They are used for the production of antibiotics, steroids, and vitamins. Drinking water from the sea. We can purify seawater for drinking purposes. Which are the methods to purify seawater? Look at the following chart. Methods to purify seawater: separating water from brackish water, separating salt from brackish water. Through methods like distillation, evaporation, condensation. Through methods like electrodialysis and reverse osmosis. Ocean water is purified through distillation in some places in India. The people of Lakshadweep use water obtained from this process. Following are the other uses of oceans to man. Provide several job opportunities, various sectors like fishing, its processing and marketing. Possibilities for tourism. Ocean transport is ideal for the transportation of heavy goods at cheaper rates from one continent to another. So that's all about this chapter. If you are interested, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you.